Welcome back to Talkville, folks. You know what this is. This is a rewatch podcast. If you didn't know, I don't know why you're tuning in to episode 15 of season 6 randomly. Makes no sense. Ryan Tejas is in the house.
Still.
Tom Welling is in the hizzle.
Let's do it.
Hey, guys, thanks for all the support and love. Again, if you want to join Patreon, support the podcast, patreon.com/Talkville. Also, if you want to merch, there's great merch at the Inside You online store. And great stuff at talkvillepodcast.com. Go to my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum. Follow my link tree for cameos and other cons that Tom and I will be at. And always look at Tom's at Tom Welling, his Instagram to see what he's up to. And
thanks.
A lot of cons coming around.
Yeah,
you do a lot more cons than I do. I can't handle too many.
They're more fun when you're there. That's for sure.
Then why are you doing so many without me, son of a B? All of a sudden, JP's like, yeah, he's going to Mexico. Yeah, he's going here, and then he's going there. I'm like, I never even heard of these cons.
I never even heard of these countries.
What is the deal?
Where's Mexico?
I mean, he loves doing this with me and Smallville nights, but I'm not even invited. Hey, let's just get into this episode. Here. This is exciting. This is an exciting day.
Well, this is exciting. This is the episode you directed. I thought you did a fabulous job. I thought all the actors looked focused and in it. I thought everyone looked fantastic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Glenn was your guy or not for this, but yeah, everybody looked great.
Thanks. Without further ado, let's get into season 6, episode 15, Freak. Title Freak aired February 15th, 2007. Director, me, Michael Rosenbaum. Writers, Todd Slavkin, Darren Swimmer. Love you guys. Guest star Aaron Ashmore. Grayston Holt as Tobias Rice. Adrian Hoff as Dr. Robert Bethany. As Lana's suspicions of her ex reach an all-time high, Clark is forced to infiltrate a Luthor-sponsored kidnapping operation that is taking out meteor-infected citizens of Smallville. You know, this was really cool because it seemed like we kept adding stuff. There's so many stories to this, but like, there's so many variables. It wasn't easy because, you know, it's the first time. It was the most graphic episode with you doing the laser beam into Chloe's chest, clavicle. And, you know, that was the first day of shooting. And, you know, and then you had the standoff at the end and with the laser at the, you know, the bullet and then you had the van coming down the side of the road, you know, almost hitting Chloe. Then you had the bowling alley, which they threw at me 2 days before we shot. Supposed to be at an amusement park. And then they called the scene before we're about to shoot. They called up and said, we want to see Clark's breath. Like, so put that and Glenn and I just had to figure it out and just how to make it look cool. And so there was a lot of stuff going on. It was cool. It was fun. A lot of stories. But let's get into it, and you know, obviously, if you guys have any questions, but it was really fun. It was nice to just
not have to shave your head.
Yeah, for a good week, you know, and just like get into it and get, you know, performances out of people, and the casting process was difficult because I really wanted this guy Grayston Holt, who then has had a good career since, but he hadn't done almost anything. But I liked the simplicity, the innocence, and I fought for him. And I also fought for Adrian Hoff as well, who's Dr. Bethany. And I remember going, no, this is the guy. There was something off about him that I liked. There's just something off, and you felt sorry for him. And so the casting process was cool because I really said, hey, man, I want this kid. I'll work with him. I know, but he's blind. He hasn't acted much. I go, I'm going to figure it out. Let's just go. And yeah, dealing with the blindness.
He's for real blind?
No, he wasn't blind, but getting him to act blind, you know, but, and I didn't even think about that. It's like, you know, you've got to make this look believable and all this stuff. And it was cool.
Well, the casting process, you know, when you're in there the first time and you're sort of on the other side of the camera, it's interesting that so much can have nothing to do with you of why you get a role or not.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
it could be your height. It could be your the way your teeth. It could be your and it could be so many different things. you have no idea.
Your availability, all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. This episode opens at everyone's favorite place in town, Smallville Lanes. As Lana Lang with a 6-pound ball in her belly is letting loose and getting wild for her bachelorette party, pregnant. It's funny because I remember I want a camera going down each aisle, each lane, and people throwing balls as we go. I want to do it this way, and I want to do it. Is that what he did in Lebowski?
Didn't they do that? I feel like that shot was in Lebowski.
But I wanted to add some energy and make it kind of cool. And I was like, I thought this would be cool to do it this way, and it looked cool. So as they snap selfies, a nearby worker, Daniel, puts some moves on the bride to be and spares her by offering a few bowling tips. Just then, a young emo child, Tobias, is chaperoned into the bowling alley by Dr. Bethany, and after removing his black shades, we see that the Cyclops has some sort of infrared vision that allows him to identify freaks. Daniel heads out to the alley and is promptly kidnapped into a discreet van, with Chloe offering her help by yelling, "Hey!" before she's forced to pull off a parkour maneuver. What is that?
Parkour.
Oh, parkour, like when you jump from wall to wall.
Yeah.
Parkour maneuver to avoid getting T-boned. That was second unit. I remember that. And it was cold as ass. And I got sick on the last 2 days of shooting. And it was like, that was a day that I remember just being miserable.
The next day, Clark and Chloe head to the bowling alley to look for clues about the Crypto Kids kidnapping. Instead, however, they spend the time lamenting Lana's upcoming wedding. They get interrupted by Daniel, who comes strolling in, completely unaware of what happened the night before, blaming it on the alcohol.
What's funny is I remember he was cocky in a really funny way. And I remember me and you laughing when he was like, to Chloe, goes, did we, I don't know, did we kind of, and I remember you and Tom and I laughing, and yeah, he was an interesting guy. He was just really kind of quirky and deadpan, and again, he was, I thought his delivery and his audition was great, and I was like, that's the guy. So, and they were pretty cool for the most part with casting. They were like, all right, you have to deal with it. So, but back at Luthor Mansion, Lex shows off his Italian and then questions what happened to Lana's bachelorette night out. Lana leaves and Dr. Bethany arrives to get an update on Tobias' surgery. Lex correctly reminds the doctor that corneas do not grow on trees, and we learn that Lex is hesitant to help cure this young man because his kryptonite gaydar is helping. Is helping him hunt down meteor freaks. Bryce, you have a way with words. Yeah, I thought that was cool that, like, this is an episode with, it hadn't been done, right? Like somebody's hunting down meteor freaks for experimentation.
It's X-Men 2.
Oh, I didn't see it.
That's one of the guy's powers. He's got like a little cerebro thing, and then like the military is like using him to like track down mutants and kill them.
Oh,
yeah, Brian Cox, right?
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out for me with this is we go from an episode where Lex couldn't get back to Lana to help her, and then this episode we find out that he has this like whole thing going on where he's killing people, or at least abducting them, and like Lana, I'll never lie to you, but
well, in 33.1, in that episode where I'm walking down the hallway and all these people, you see that's what he was doing, and now we're getting a more colorful view of what's actually happening. And so it's pretty dark. It's like, he doesn't want to help this kid get a cornea transplant, and he wants him to hunt down these people. So, and what's weird is, like, when it says they've been killed off later, isn't the whole point for him to get them? I don't think to kill them, but they show that there's an X. They're gone. I think it means they're abducted again, right?
That's what I got. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Clark and Chloe head to the DP to learn about the kryptonite cleansing sweeping the town. As they analyze photographs from the Wild Girls' Night Out, Chloe remembers that unlike Stevie Wonder, blind people can't see. This sends them to the house of Tobias. Yeah, has that been dispelled yet, the Stevie Wonder thing?
I think he's blind.
There's things.
There's always rumors.
Things where like he catches the mic stand as it's falling.
I don't know. I think he's blind too, but there's just like this. That's like a fun rumor that's out there.
I don't know how you could keep it for so long.
That's a commitment to the bit.
Wow.
But no, he's blind.
Yeah. I think so.
When they get there, they question Tobias's appearance at Smallville Lanes, to which he reminds them because of his condition. He's not doing much pointing nowadays. Clark helps prevent a glass from falling, but doing so sends Tobias's glasses flying off and causes him to see something in Clark, we think.
Yeah, I like that because I even thought, I was like, oh, he sees Clark's oh yeah. I have no idea that Chloe's a freak. So this was a good reveal later on. You know, you think, okay, he's got Clark. He sees this.
Yeah.
He's done. He's going to give him away. Lex is going to learn the secret. So I thought that was a kind of a cool twist that it wasn't him. It was Chloe. I thought that was pretty cool.
I even thought later when he doesn't say anything about Clark, we don't know about Chloe yet, that he might even be protecting Clark. Like he even went that far into the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Chloe heads back home to the town and gets confronted by in person by Lana about why she really went outside during her super fun bachelorette party at the bowling lanes. Not satisfied by her answer, Lana pushes the issue and refuses to drop something that seems extremely insignificant. Chloe admits that she believes Lex is responsible for the aggravated assault and kidnapping, but it's totally understandable because the kid had telekinesis. Come on. Not only is she grappling with the fact that her bowling improvement was fabricated, but Lana also questions if the man she is marrying is justified in his abduction of children.
Before his secret can get revealed to Lex Luthor, Clark heads to the hospital to confront Dr. Bethany. After the doc plays dumb, Clark uses his super blow to create a distraction of flying papers and steal his laptop.
That was that scene.
Yeah, how
that
was
that scene. It was just we got news of what they wanted the scene before. Glenn goes, we have an update. What? We have to do this. And so we mapped it out where you're going to do it super speed, drop your laptop off, you know, outside that room. And like it was, and try to make it believable. I think it worked as much as it could work, you know?
I know that was cool.
Yeah.
Despite showing up to dissuade any suspicion of his super abilities, Dr. Bethany is now extremely suspicious of Clark.
If I could go back, I would have liked to have one more shot when you're outside with the laptop, when you're walking down the hall, you leave frame and Dr. Bethany kind of walks out and looks in your direction. You know, something that make him more like, I should have done that. It was easy because all I had to do is have him walk outside and then just kind of look down the hallway. Mm-hmm. But I didn't do it. It just would have added another moment of coolness. But Clark heads back to the town and enlists Chloe's aid in getting into the doctor's computer. But when he gets there, he finds Jimmy panicked. Chloe is missing. Clark rushes to Tobias' house, accuses him of having Chloe kidnapped. Tobias is suddenly confused, thinking his string of unmarked kidnappings at the hand of his upper super radar was being done for good. But, well, inconvenience.
Tobias then tells Clark that he is not the subject of interest here. Chloe is, because she is meteor infected. Even though she's been caught using kryptonite countless times in the series. Yeah, what does he say? That Clark is the most normal guy he's ever met?
He's the most normal guy I ever met.
Which is something you say when you're trying to cover up someone's insanity.
Yeah, but
Michael, he's so normal.
But he's being but he was so honest. But yeah, he should have said, because he repeats that line like he almost had it.
Yeah.
You know, he could have just said,
that makes me think.
Clark, no, Clark's absolutely normal. What are you talking about? He's like, he's the most normal guy I've ever met.
He wears pants and has teeth.
Then we see Chloe strapped and gagged on an operating table as Dr. Bethany and his team proceed with 10-inch needle DNA extraction that knocks her out cold. That was a tough scene. It was quick. We only had like a couple hours, but I felt bad for Allison with that concoction or that device on her face and all that. And I was like, are you comfortable? I wanted to make sure she was comfortable. And, you know, it's pretty dark.
She's like, uh-huh.
The next day in Smallville, Lex greets his future wife with a lie by telling her he doesn't know who Tobias is. Lana doesn't believe that his fascination with meteor freaks wouldn't lead him to Tobias. But Lex says bye with another lie. Over in the town, Jimmy breaks down, having not seen Chloe in over 10 hours. He does a 180 when Chloe waltzes in, completely unaware of her kidnap and probing. This is an interesting dynamic in Clark's mind. He has to wonder whether or not Chloe has been a meteor freak all along. However, we can't ask her now because her memory's wiped. Now, does she even remember him having powers? I like how you're really good at making her feel comfortable. like saying, hey, just in those scenes in this episode, especially towards the end, like when she's emotional, like what's going to happen to me, and you're like, I'm there, I'm your friend, don't worry.
Yeah.
It was just really good. It was, and I don't know if you remember, not to jump ahead, but at the very end, Allison came up to me and said, hey, you remember you talking about your grandma? And I go, yeah. And she goes, can you tell me a story about your grandma? Because she wanted to get emotional. And I started telling her, and then I could see her eyes well up. I go, roll camera. All right, let's get in the places. Do you remember that?
I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember something like that.
It was in the bullpen, or what? The pen. Yeah. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I'll tell you what, BetterHelp has helped so many people, so many friends. Ryan here works with BetterHelp, and it has changed his life in many ways, and mine. What's great about this is it's online, folks. Therapy online, it's so much cheaper than going in person or offline therapy. This has really changed a lot of lives.
Also, like, how about the time you save driving to the therapist and driving home?
Oh my gosh. And if you want to change a therapist, Tom, you just change a therapist. You don't have to worry about saying, oh, I'm not going to be using you anymore. You just go to the next one. It makes it very easy, because I think people have a lot of thoughts of, oh, this is going to be uncomfortable. I don't know. I really hope people give it a shot. And look, let's talk numbers. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 a session, which adds up really fast. But with BetterHelp Online Therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. It's pretty incredible. And with BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and on time.
Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury. With online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress. Your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach. Therapy from BetterHelp is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself.
With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with a click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapist at any time. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Talkville.
As Lex Luthor puts on his emo suit for the day, Dr. Bethany arrives to let his boss know that his laptop used to hunt down freaks has been stolen. Worried about the contents of this hunter's laptop, Lex and the doctor are now desperate to recover it and prevent any more cracks in their current kidnapping scheme.
Why is everyone just always an idiot? Why do people leave such, think about it. Chloe leaves her laptop around with all this vital information. Dr. Bethany just I guess he didn't really do anything. It was right in front of him, and then it's gone. He couldn't have done much about that, I guess. But, it's like, how many times have people stolen shit from Lex? And it's just like everybody's, where is it? Where is it? I don't freaking know. It's just stupid. Lex demands the doctor bring him Tobias. However, Lana gets there first. She makes quick with small talk and offers to bribe her fellow classmate to leave town and stop contributing to the mass kidnapping and probing. Lana alludes to wanting to protect someone in town who is responsible for saving lives on a daily basis. And Tobias begins to talk about Clark Kent, and Lana immediately accuses him of being infected. However, Tobias quickly puts that to rest and tells Lana that Clark is a normal, corn-fed, tractor-riding, God-fearing Kansas child. And this quickly makes Lana believe that Clark indeed has abs of steel, as he was able to bend a metal tool in his barn. I like those scenes.
I like Kristen's reaction to that.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I really love the kid's performance, don't you? Mm-hmm. I thought he was really good. I really thought he came through. He was likable. He was really likable, and you felt bad for him, and that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? So that was.
He
cool.
was also I think one of the tough things about playing vision as being an impediment is not being active in your performance, and he was active.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. And I remember when he's walking in his apartment. Do you remember when he was like, nope, you're blind. You're blind. You can't see. Just close your eyes. Nope, it looks like you're not blind. You're blind. There's some moments where I was just like, but it was funny. Like he was.
Later that night, Chloe helps Clark with his true greatest weakness, computers. She hacks into the files, and they learn that the doctor is GPS tracking meteor freaks, perceivably to hunt them down and finish the gerb. After Chloe rushes her boyfriend out of the room, she promptly requests that Clark x-ray her. Despite his hesitancy, Clark finds a chip in her collarbone. She begins to freak out and frantically pleads for Clark to use his heat vision to zap out the chip before it can kill her.
All I could picture was Jimmy outside the door hearing her scream. And
I know. God. Crying.
She's like, what, x-ray me?
What's happening to my girlfriend?
Get it out of me.
She is my girlfriend, right?
Get it out of me. To prevent her from taking a butcher knife to the chest, Clark agrees to use his heat vision, searing into her skin, and then uses his fingers to pull out the GPS device.
This was honestly the first scene I shot, and it was my favorite scene of the show. It was so intense, and the rain and the thunder and the movement and the it was just frenetic and like, oh my gosh, we're cutting her collarbone open and we're ripping this out and screaming and emotional, and it was just
Allison's performance was super good. It was
super
like high
good
intensity, like gotta happen now.
Yeah. I remember I said, really scream, fuck, this is painful. I mean, really let it go. And like, I love that scene. I loved it. I remember I got in trouble because, not in trouble, but Marshall came on the set while I was directing. And he's like, all right, would you shoot? I go, well, we did a 2-shot here, and there was something else. And he's like, did you get a close up there? I go, no, we didn't need it. He's like, what do you mean? You always get a close up there. I go, hey, Glenn, to the DP, do we need a close up when they're at the thing? He's like, no. And then he goes, all right, come here. Marshall goes, come here. All right, first of all, don't belittle me in front of people. Secondly, I want you to get a close up there. So it was something, and I was like, all right, fine. But it was like, he just wanted to make sure, because we finished 2 hours early on that first day.
Oh, that's not good.
No,
That's not
and
good.
I realized they don't want that.
What?
No.
Yeah,
Why?
because
Who? Like the union or what?
because they're I don't know, they just don't want it to look that easy, I guess. Because it was kind of an
like
easy,
if you're in a position where, unless it has to do with starting earlier the next day, you keep shooting. You're not like, shoot something else. Keep we got everybody here. Keep going. Oh yeah. You're not supposed to finish early.
Huh.
Yeah, you're not supposed. I mean, if you finish a half hour early or something, but like I was 2 hours early on the first day, and but there were days I remember. There was one day when Allison's costume like fell apart, like something snapped and broke off, and so she gets ready. It takes 20 minutes to repair it, so we're 20, 30 behind, and then all of a sudden the dolly broke, and then Tom comes on set and goes, dude, what's going on with his, and I go, dude, it's not my fucking fault. He goes, calm down, I'm just kidding. But I was like, you realize that you're sort of at the mercy of like, it's a
So
lot of
many
luck,
factors.
and you're like, I mean, what are you gonna do? The dolly broke. Not my fault, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when it's like, okay, we got to wrap now, they don't look at like, oh, it's not your fault for this. They're like, you got to finish the day. You got to make your day. It's a lot of pressure.
All right, Dr. Bethany creeps his way into Tobias's house and lets him know the good news. The surgery is coincidentally ready. What? Tobias doesn't buy it and cuts the lights out in the house, forcing the doctor to whip out his ray gun. Super menacing. The doctor goes on a rant about the powers that be and conveniently withholds information about Lana's fiance, Lex. He aims his ray gun at Lana, but is stopped when Tobias comes out of the shadows like Daredevil and pops a cap in the doctor. Then it's an all-out fight. Just as the Mexican standoff gets popping, Clark super speeds in, is able to stop Lana from catching another body, and deflects the ray gun to blast back at the doctor.
Yeah,
Did anybody else, like, Lana pulled the trigger?
Yeah.
Like, she's not messing around.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
She's learning from the best.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I gotta go.
As the police try to figure out what the hell just happened here, Clark steps by to talk to Tobias and learns all about Lana's curiosities surrounding Clark's abilities. What did you say to her? I said you're the most normal guy. Yeah, I know. You said that line already twice. As Clark sends off Tobias in a Queen limousine, Lana pulls out another piece of Clark Kent bent metal and questions how physics were broken to save lives in the house. However, this time she seems more at peace with Clark's non-answer, having suspicions of his philanthropic heroics. Even more, she tells Clark that even if he was meteor infected, that he would still be the same Clark Kent to her, to which Clark sits in amazement, wishing he could turn back time on 120 episodes of effing regret.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just say that before, Lana?
Yeah. Damn.
Damn.
And that was the famous scene that Tom laughs at, where I was like, okay, she's walking away. She's walking away. You love her. You love her. Yeah. It's like my hands up, and I'm like, oh,
your hand
hands
was the
in
eye
front.
line. Yeah.
My hand's the
That's
eye
right.
line. And Tom loved that. The episode ends in familiar place, Lex admiring his fire. And what's funny about this is I went out on a date with this girl, and she was really cool, but I thought she was really talented. And I love this song. And so the song that they play right into this, going into the bullpen later, is the song I Got Her Song. And I remember she called me one day a year later and goes, I have made like $20,000 off this episode. And I was pumped because she was like a hungry artist. She was just trying to make it. And the song fit perfectly.
What was the song?
Some people living in this world around them.
It's a good song.
Yeah. Having some sort of new clarity about Clark's lies, Lana is beginning to reach a frustrating breaking point with the countless new lies getting fed from her truthful hubby. He then commits one of the dirtiest things to date by trying to erase her worries by swearing on the soul of his unborn child.
Yeesh.
And her name was Samantha Mullen.
What does that sound familiar? We then see Chloe having a guilty internal crisis, wondering whether or not she was infected by kryptonite this whole effing time. Clark eases her paranoia by saying, hey, maybe, but he's going to be her bomb squad regardless.
Lastly, Lex ends the night with some private computer time in his office as he kicks back in the chair, lets down his guard, and watches Chloe sprawled out on the operating table. After requesting that a close eye gets kept on Chloe Sullivan, we then get close to his eyes as the episode ends. You know what? I said, you guys have to put this in, because never break the fourth wall, right? And I go, this is just dope. It warrants it. I look up from my computer, the last shot of the show. I just go boom, and it goes black. Yeah. And I loved it, and they kept it in.
That was cool.
And I thought for sure they're gonna cut it. It's not Smallville enough. It's like, but I really thought that was kind of cool. Like, okay, now he's getting really dark.
Did it go so far that in the editor's cut it wasn't in there, and then you went down and saw it?
Yeah,
and had to put it back
they
in?
didn't put it in the editor's cut, and I go, guys, this has to be in. And I remember calling a couple people. I go, it's dope. Please trust me. You can cut everything, but keep this one shot. And they kept it in, so I was pumped.
Cool. That was cool.
Yeah. Closing thoughts. Is this the turning point in Lex and Lana's relationship and betrayal? It seems like it's a big part of it. After all this time of Chloe fascinating over meteor freaks, do you think it would have been cool if she actually became one? Jeez.
She does that?
It was great. It was a great experience. It got me the confidence to then write and direct a movie, and you know, I want to direct another one now, and you know, it just gave me, it was like a crash course in filmmaking, and like if you just pay attention to your surroundings, Tom, as you know, you learn a lot, and you learn. I learned so much in that episode. So,
well, I think one of the things that I took away is you knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
And you knew when things worked. You were very specific, and you brought an interest and an energy to it that, you know, not every episodic director brings. You really did care. And that's fun for the actor too.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think three things. One, tell the story. Let the story tell itself by being simple with the camera. You don't have to do too much, right? Put the camera on the actor. Let the lines, let the words, let the scene, keep it simple, you know. Two, listen to the people who know what they're doing around you. And three would be just, for me, getting the best performances. So I think it was more of a, you know, I wanted you guys to be comfortable knowing that I had your back. When you watch the episode, you go, wow, I you know, you had our back. So if I ever did it anymore, they would, you know, trust me. So
how's it directing yourself?
I didn't have to do it a ton, but like, I didn't watch it, obviously. So I would do a take, and you know, we set it up and they would show me the shot, and I knew what the shot is with the stand-in, and this is what we're going to do, the reflection in the mirror of me, and then the, you know, Lana leaves, the doctor comes in, this is how we're going to shoot it. When it's on me, I didn't care as much. I was just like asking Glenn, are we good? Performance good? He's like, yep, you're good. So I didn't want to go back, watch me. I trusted myself enough and trusted Glenn to like, hey, let's move on. You know,
it's also if you walk away after every take and watch it, you break the rhythm of what's happening, especially if there's a dolly move and the other actor now has to sit there and wait for you to go watch it.
Yeah, and it's time consuming.
It is. This is a kind of random question. When you were on camera and you were directing, did you say action, or did you have somebody else?
No,
say it?
I think it was Kevin Farr. I had him say action. I think it might have been Merzy. But I had them say action. I didn't want to do that because it was hard. Action, Lana. It's just kind of two different. But no, I never said action once when I directed. Yeah.
Even when I was off camera, I always had somebody else say it. It just felt odd for me.
Yeah, I said if I was in a scene, you definitely didn't say action. But no, I was proud of it. Like, I watched the episode again, and I was like, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I thought if you read the script and you saw the execution, I thought it was good execution. So I was.
Yeah, I have a question, Michael, about one of that shot where like Clark laser beams into Chloe and then he pulls out the chip. Like, do you know ahead of time that that's going to be a visual effects shot, or is that your choice to make it that, like, based on what's in the script?
I just knew that they were going to get a close up of her shoulder, or of where the chip's at, and they would get one shot of kind of like this chip inside or whatever they were going to, and he takes out the chip and we do an extreme close up. But like, it would have been
budgeted for a visual effects shot.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I don't even think about that stuff unless it's really critical. Like, I think it's not seeing her shoulder open up and bleed and get bloody and all that. It was more about the idea of it. And like him, boom, and her immediately grabbing her shoulder.
But it definitely hangs on it for a little, so you could like see it.
Yeah, you could see it a little bit. So I was surprised that they kept. You know, for me, I love horror, so I wanted more. But what they showed was enough that I was like, ooh, from the emotions of the actors.
Yeah,
like Clark's surprise and Chloe's sort of like just pain and disbelief, that sold it. That's what really sold it. You didn't really need to see anything. It sold it on that alone. So but like, I remember it was crazy because we went to the P&E where the amusement park is, and it's supposed to be at an amusement park, and there's this big fat lady, this art, and I wanted them to make a big fat lady arch, and it's a mouth of a big fat lady, singing, and I wanted the camera to go crane above, go down, go through the archway of the mouth, go inside the mouth of the fat lady, and as this 5 people, like, patrons or whatever, walk by, we now pick up on a steady cam. And the steady cam continues on, so it almost appears almost seamless. And I had all this stuff done. And I remember the producers came. I had this whole thing worked out, blocked. I was ready. And 2 days before, I'm in the room and I'm just going over stuff. And Marshall and 4 other people come in and go, "Hey, buddy, we're going to the bowling alley." And I go, "Really? I'm working. Have fun." They're like, "No, we're not going bowling." You go, "Yeah, we are. You're coming with us." And I go, "Why am I going with you? We're not shooting at we're not having an amusement park scene anymore. It's now at a bowling alley." I'm like, "What? What the man? I had this whole blocked out. I had this and they're all kind of laughing. They're like, "This is it." And I go, "I don't know." And then I go, and I was kind of pissed, but I got in the van and we went. And the second I walk in the bowling alley, I go, "We're on a dolly, wide shot. Here's what," and it just, you forget about it. And you're like, "This is what we have to do." And then they all started laughing. They're like, "All right." And we figured it out. And it was cool. Interesting things to note. When Lana and Chloe are in the bowling alley and Lana picks up her second bowling ball, the writing on the ball shows as Lois Lane's.
Fantastic.
Didn't know that.
Wow.
CGO.
Hello?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
What's all that stuff behind you, CGO? Caesar?
This is my wall of DVD collections I have.
Wow, dude.
And this is like my little like geek corner.
I love
and
that.
Of course, obviously I have a picture of you guys right here when we all met.
Where was that?
That was the one in Philly.
The one in Philly.
The Fan Expo in Philly. I think it was about 2023, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Philly. I went to the stairs where Rocky Balboa ran up, and I did that video. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I'm a huge Rocky fan. I just got a statue of Rocky. It came in the mail today, and it's been like I got it from the Stallone shop like a year ago. It's him with like the things of meat, like in the meat locker room, and the with his hands all bloody. It's dope.
Very cool.
Why Smallville? Cool. When did you start watching Smallville, and why did you love the show?
So I actually started watching Smallville since the first episode when it aired. Because I've been a fan of Superman since when I was young. Because my father actually he's the one who got me into Superman, Batman. So when I was a kid, growing up watching like all the animated shows, all the Christopher Reeve movies. So when I found out that Smallville was going to be a TV show on the CW, I got excited because it was like, his teenage years. So I was there on premiere night. That's
amazing. I love the shirt too. And by the way, I'm sorry Tom couldn't be here. He had to go pick up his kids, and so he couldn't be here today. But like Ryan's here. I mean, you got to love Ryan. Don't you love Ryan?
Of course. Ryan, we were at the whatchamacallit, the creation one.
New Jersey.
From New Jersey. Ryan, I was the one who gave you that red kryptonite. I don't know if you still have it.
Oh, yeah.
That was me.
Yeah, I remember it. No, do you have a jacket on? Like a leather jacket? No?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think so. I forgot. But I gave you red kryptonite. That's what I remember.
Well, good to see you again.
So, cool. CGO, what's your favorite storyline of the show, and what characters that did Smallville not have that you wanted to see?
Okay. The storyline that I did like was it was this season because it introduced the Justice. The whole League. The Justice League. So the only thing that I wish they could have brought in, and I know this was because of legal issues, was Batman. Bruce Wayne or something, to mention Bruce Wayne or Batman in some way, somehow, or actually, mention Gotham City. That was my only thing that I wish we could have seen on the show.
Tom and I both feel that way as well. We both feel that way.
There was a tiny mention of Gotham.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I actually have to be getting back to Gotham anyway.
There was.
But then they blew that guy up like immediately.
Yeah. I remember that. Wasn't that in the episode where
like the reunion one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, that was it. That was it for Gotham.
Oh, that's right.
It's only because we just watched it.
Yeah.
I do recall.
What's your favorite season?
My favorite season is actually it's really hard to like pick a season, but it's like every season had something that was interesting. Like for example, this one had Justice. The first season was like the pilot, and it was like the beginnings, and it was like it was freaking the week, but still it was like to introduce how like Smallville, to introduce Clark Kent and Smallville and all these other characters. Honestly, this season was actually pretty good because, like I said, it brought in the Justice League. It brought in like the Teen Justice League.
I like this season, I think, the most. I think it moves. I think it's character driven. If I could do without one season, it'd get rid of a lot of the Kawachi caves and all that crap that was in there. I would just like somehow connect it without having to go through 20 or more episodes of that crap and dealing with the Teagues and all that. Like that kind of was like it kind of grinded the show down a little bit to a halt in a way, and then it kind of picked back up. But like I really like this season. I don't really love the fake pregnancy or whatever the pregnancy is. If you've already watched the show, then you kind of know, so I'm not giving any spoilers away. But do you think Lex is do you hate Lex now, or do you still are waiting for him to maybe turn good again?
Nah, I'm still loving Lex. Man. He gets darker and darker every season. So yeah, man, I'm really loving it, man. Especially this episode, I know that you directed this episode, and that's one of the reasons why it's like I wanted to talk about this episode, because it's the one that you directed, and I noticed a lot of like horror-esque atmospheres within this episode, and you make good use of lighting and sound, especially during the scene with Chloe when she was getting probed, and also when Lana was confronting Dr. Bethany in Tobias's dark home. It's almost like you were channeling Kubrick and Hitchcock in a way. I don't know. So did you, like, by any chance, like, pick up any like tidbits from like Wes Craven when you work with him?
Well,
to
I'm
add
just
this
a big
horror element.
I'm just a big horror fan, so I like to do low angles, looking up. It makes things a little creepier. Extreme close-ups, long wide shots, like in the alley, in the beginning, out of the bowling alley. You see this figure appear out of the smoke. It's like I wanted to kind of have that sense of dread and horror. And in that scene where, Clark does his heat vision on Chloe's shoulder. And that I wanted that to feel like build, scream, outside it's raining and the lightning's crashing and that stuff. So I did what I could to make it more of a little bit horror-esque. But yeah, I'm glad you noticed that, because that's what I want to do. I'm trying to direct horror now, and I love it so much that I think I'll have a lot of fun. And so yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. Well, dude, this has been amazing. Yeah. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
CGO, Caesar, you're amazing. Thanks for being such a great fan. We love you, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you guys.
Now it's time for the hotline.
Talkville.
Let's go to the hotline. This is patron privilege. This is Jen T. This is Talkerman.
Hey guys, it's patron Jen Talkerman from Brunswick, Maine here with a question about the episode Freak. Michael, this was your Smallville directorial debut. Congratulations, this was a good episode. Are you a perfectionist when you direct? If so, when looking at the episode now, are there any changes that you would make to make the episode better? Thanks, guys. Love to you all.
I don't want to sound cocky, but I watch it. I'm like, there's nothing else I would have done. I don't think there's anything in there I go, maybe a line or two I would have changed or whatever. But no, I appreciated it. I really did. A perfectionist, I don't know. I want it to be as great as it can be, but I let things go. Once I'm done with something, I'm like, all right, moving on. We got that. It was great. We're good. Lighting, hair in the gate. We're good. No hair in the gate. Let's move on. It's just right, Tom. It's like we got shit to do. We gotta keep moving. So, but yeah, there was no time to be a perfectionist. You just got to get done with the day and get the scenes as good as possible. Here's Thomas T.
Hey, it's ThomasTomTurner with a question for the season 6 episode Freak. I was just wondering if you guys remember what it was like working with Grayson Holt. He went on to be in Bitten with Laura Vandervoort, and he was really great in that show too. Thanks.
He was awesome, man. He was great to work with. He was just open, malleable, just like, hey, whatever you want, I'll try to give it to you. And I love that. It was so easy. Let's see.
He was believable.
Here's Jay. He was definitely believable.
Hey, this is Jay from Toronto. I'm curious as to what you guys think about the shift from long 22-episode seasons like Smallville to shows with shorter but multi-year gap seasons that range from 8 to 10 episodes. People criticize both long seasons for having filler and short seasons for making fans wait too long. Do you think the longer format actually helped build stronger fan connections by giving more time for character moments in shows like Smallville?
Great question, Jay. That's a really good question. Are 22 episodes better because you get to really know the character? Or is it better to do 8 or 10? I have to say it's all in the writing. If you write 8 to 10 episodes that are solid, character driven, you're going to get probably a better experience out of 8 or 10. Because look at Dahmer. Like, that show was unbelievably intense. And it told, you didn't need to know anything more than that. It just felt like, wow, I get it. Mm-hmm. And so, I think they did it more for money. Like, they like to, the studios like to make money, and it doesn't make them a lot of money when it's less episodes produced. So if you have 22, they're going to make a lot of money, and they're thinking residually. They're thinking, overseas, once this becomes, what do you call it?
Syndicated.
Then they're going to make a lot more money. That's what they're thinking. That's why 22 a year makes more sense for them. Wholeheartedly.
Also, a lot of it changed when the streamers came on.
Yeah.
Because network television usually did that much.
Yeah.
But it like a lot of people are like turning to those like your shows like being on the streamers and like finding comfort in like the longevity of it and like watching just like episode after episode after episode.
Yeah, there's so many that like nowadays you watch a series and 45 episodes you're done with the series.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 7. White Lotus is 8 episodes. You could watch the whole thing in, a couple of, a week or two.
And then you have to wait a year and a half to see the
you have
next
to wait
one.
a fucking year and a half. We had 2 months you had to wait.
Jesus.
Jay.
Hi, this is Patron Taylor R. from North Carolina. I have
Taylor.
a question for season 6, episode 15 Freak. Michael, this is your first episode directing Smallville. So from a scale from 1 to 10, how nervous were you when you were directing this episode? Thank you so much for this podcast. I love y'all.
Love you too, Taylor. I was nervous, but I was more nervous. I just wanted, I wanted to do a great job. I wanted everybody to go, he actually did it. Because I'm always goofing off. I'm making laughs. I'm just I'm joking around. And I wanted them to go, oh, you know what? This is actually, this is a good episode. So there was definitely that. But I wasn't really nervous. Like,
No, you didn't seem nervous.
no, I felt like this is what I wanted to do. And there were some days, I'd say 80% of the time, I had a lot of fun. I loved it. It was great. There were some moments where I was like, oh man, this is a bitch and I don't know how to do this. And that's when I talked to Glenn or the DP and we worked things out that I didn't quite understand. But you got to go into it knowing, hey, you're not going to know everything. You're just not, especially your first time directing, besides plays. You're not going to know everything. So go in there and learn and be the best you could be. I think that's a mistake. You got to go in saying, I'm going to have fun. This is going to be fun. Let's go in. Let's make a good scene. If you don't have that, then you're on nerves. It's like you're working off being, it's just not healthy, I don't think. Patar says, Michael or Peter or Patar, do you remember how you felt after reading the script for the episode you directed? Were you excited, disappointed, or indifferent? This is one episode I actually read, fellas. I was excited. I was like, this is cool. This is kind of cool. It's like, it's something different. It's like, I had all these ideas. I'm glad it wasn't a boring, crappy episode, that like every once in a while you're like, oh, there was some cool stuff. Like as a viewer, like that scene alone where he lasers her shoulder, that right there, I would have been like, dude, that's cool. Cause I like that stuff. So
you had even more than that, as you said. You had the alleyway with the car. You had a lot of things.
Action.
Happening.
I had different stuff. I had the blind kid. I had there's a lot of fun to it. I think it's a cool, dark, fun episode for me anyway. But I'm proud of it, and I'm definitely proud of it. All right. Should we do one more question, or is that good?
Let's do one more.
All right.
Hey, this is Shay calling from Dawsonville, Georgia. I was calling because this is one of the first times I've really seen Lex as evil at the end of the episode. He's always been great before, but just seeing him sit there, watch the computer as someone he knows is getting experimented on at his request is crazy to me. But you just did such a good job acting it with such the blank face. But that to me, this is the first time you're really seeing the turn in Lex of how dark he's gotten. Thanks. Have a good day.
You know what?
Bye.
And that's why the last shot I wanted to be with the eyes right down the barrel. Because I knew he had lied to Lana, and at this point it was obvious to the audience that he's lying. It's different when it's ambiguous. It's different when you're unsure if a character's done that, but now that you know he's actually doing these things and you see what he's done to Chloe's character, that's why I was like, you've crossed the line.
Well, that shot would have never even, no one would have ever gotten that shot but you, because you knew that. No other director would do that. They just wouldn't think about it.
Yeah, and I knew that like this is he can't go back up anymore. He's gone through the door. Mm-hmm. And so I just felt like it was time. It was the end of season 6. I'm thinking, I probably only have a season and a quarter left. as an actor. So let's go balls out, man. Let's start this shit. Let's go. We've, So Rosenbaum rating. You guys can be honest. If you didn't like it, you can say it. I don't get offended. Bryce, be honest. What do you think?
1 bomb.
1 bomb.
No, it's just 2 roses.
2 roses? Why'd you say 2 roses?
I think it's 2 because it deserves it. Teetering on 2.5, but definitely 2.
Ooh. All right. Ryan?
2.
You don't have to be nice if you think it's 1.
I do think it was a 2. I was also teetering on 2.5.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Tom, you could say 1.5 if you want.
I was going to say 2 bombs. No. I also think it's 2. Everything was great about it. I mean, you nailed it. I think the story was fun. I think the ending was spectacular. I mean, it was, if you just showed this episode to somebody who's never seen it, I think they'd want to see more.
That's the Tom criterion.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. You know, I didn't know. I do remember Alan Miles calling me, and Al said, "Hey, we loved it. Are you gonna do another one?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe." And I just never did another one. It was already the end of season 6, so I was like, "Next season is my last season," so I didn't think I needed to, but that was cool having them call me and say, "You want to do another one?" And I was like, "Oh, that's cool that they're, because I know that they wouldn't have called me. They would have."
Well, you have your commemorative slate.
Oh yeah,
over there.
Well, maybe we'll take a picture of that. It's my episode that I directed. It's framed. The crew gave me that. It says Smallville Freaks, Scene 1. Glenn Winter, Michael Rosenbaum directing.
Now wait a second. What's your Rosenbaum rating on it?
Oh yeah, I have to give one.
You already said there were no flaws.
No, I it's not that there weren't flaws. There wasn't anything I would change really. Right. I thought it was an enjoyable episode. There's a lot going on. It was dark. A lot of secrets come out. I was gonna say no more. It's either 1.5 or 2. But if you're all giving it 2, I'll give it 2.
All right.
I'll give it 2. I thought it was a good episode. It was enjoyable. Death and save count. How many people got saved? How many people died? 2 died. Daniel Kim gets killed in a car crash. Clark kills Dr. Bethany. 1 saved. Clark saves Tobias. Through 15 episodes, 24 dead, 29 saved. Series 201 dead, 219 saved. Ryan's favorite scene.
All right. Mm-hmm. Scene 1, get it out of me. Scene 2, Clark bullet time. And scene 3, Clark and Lana having kind of a Casablanca moment at the end. Just sort of like knowing glances.
Tom?
Would guess scene 1.
Me too, 1.
Yeah.
That was the best scene in the show.
It felt different. Like everything about it, like it was
it was super dark.
Probably because it was your first shot. Now that I know that, like it was, everyone felt fresh and so probably had your new eyes on it, and everyone was like not overworked yet.
Yeah.
Well, and you made it. You were able to capture it and make it a big deal, and it was a big deal. Somebody could have just gotten their shots, and been like, "Oh, that's crazy," move on. But it became a big deal. It's good.
I felt like there was a good energy.
It was day one energy.
Day one from the crew. Gusto. Everybody was excited. Everybody was like, oh, "This is fun stuff we're doing."
Yeah.
And the performances. You and Chloe knocked it out. You and Allison knocked it out of the park. It was just like, I was like, man, they're giving it. They're putting it out there for me. It was awesome. It's an awesome feeling. That's it for the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Stick around next week as we cross our hearts and hope to die, talking about season 6, episode 16, Promise. Let's take the discussion online. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or Talkville Pod. Show us support by joining patreon.com/Talkville. And more information is in the description. And thank you for all the love and support.
And remember, always hold on to Smallville.
And we can't forget about our wonderful patrons who make this show possible. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Patreon.com/Talkville. Get your name shouted out and much more. And you're supporting the show. Picture it like a streaming service, right, guys? You're you watch something, you have to pay Netflix. We don't have to pay anything for this show. So if you give back, you help out the show, and we keep doing it. So thank you. We love you. Here we go. Shout outs. Leanne P, Leanne, Raj C, Santiago M, Little Lisa, ThomasTomTurner, Shane W, BetsyD, Abhi P, Fatima T, KarenApple M, 99 more, Leilani N, Stu G, always hold on to Smallville, Charlie T, Charlie, Garrett W, Bob K, Tom N, Jason W, Lana rhymes with banana W, Nancy D, Brian G, Grape Jelly 817, Amanda R, Teddy 127.
Michael P, Ryan R, Randy B, Craig G, Jor-Al C, Heather and Greg. I made Talkville say butts. Brian H, Eric K, Clarks M, Kristen B, Finky, Early is on time. Damn, who's that? Jeanette E, General Zod, Theodore, Doug R, Carlos C, Shanna I, Ken the Limmer Guy, thanks for calling in. Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, Claire M, D Brown, KarenApple M, Jules M, Eldon Supremo, Brian P, McBurst, Ginger Moose, Christoph S, Nobody C, Amanda Lynn, Jessica B, Michael B, Sebastian F, Wolfie. Matthew, I just thought about Wolfie yesterday. I drove by a place up in Oregon called Wolfie's Auto Parts. Matthew and Lincoln B, Mary Lou L, CGO.
Shannon Fannin, Matt Maverick, Jenny T, Randy S, Cassie B, Danny Mo, Mirabelle, Mary K, Sophie L, Stephen A, Danger. When you're rich, you aren't crazy, you're eccentric. Rosenbaum fan, Sammy Sharman, Carrie Ann, the Alexander Castle, Jenny B76, Monica T, Ms. M, Emily, Who Locked, Jeffrey K, Katya C, previously on Smallville, Sharu, Keith B, Cookie Kareem, Libertaria, Danny Z from Cleveland, Biagio C, Lady J, Medicine H, as told by Helen, Kelowna A, Natalia, Dr. J, Pneumonia Trauma Microscopic Volcano Anasis, Caitlin, Dr. G, and Dr. T, Kryptonite, Ned L, Flirtatious B, Per 6A, Luther Corp subsidiary, Naman L, Smallville for life, Bobby B, Kendrick F, Stacy L, Other Brother Daryl, Melanie P, Starla S, Charlie M, Cheyenne F, AJ Sisson, Heather H, Tom and Michael's friend Mickey, Allison C, Karen H, or Sierra, I think it's Karen H, Hubs, Cuban Boy, Laura C, Sarah C, Adam C,
Jackie J, John W, Jet Blazer, Bradley H, Laura L, Carolus, Gertz, Butt Cheeks. Okay. Ryan M, Omar H, Brian E, Dan L of Chizona, and Maria P.
We love you all. Thank you for being here every damn week. We appreciate you. Rock on, folks. We'll see you next week.
Rock on.